out the 5 gifted subs going out to Wolfie, Quali, Quail, Maples, Liga Man 30, and Finchy. Appreciate the generosity, mate. Thank you so very much. Thank you, thank you, thank you. We jump into game number 1 of this best of 3. In the bottom right-hand corner, the red Protoss player, Creator. Taking on our blue Terran in the top left, Oliveira. Alright. Let's see what gets going on in this one. Expecting a fun time, honestly. Expecting a fun time between these two. Glad to have me back. Hell yeah, well, thank you so much for supporting, mate. I'm super glad to be back. I really am so happy to be back casting every week and everything. So good to have, streams planned for every single day. Tomorrow we'll be having OSC King of the Hill. On Friday, Sunday it'll be World Team League. I'll not be here Saturday. Gonna have a little day out on Saturday with Ellie and Helen. Friday, Sunday, World Team League. I'm kind of thinking about maybe running a little European Cup on Sunday afternoon. And then next week, obviously, we start up again. Monday, ESL Open Cup Korea. Tuesday, WardiTV Korean Royale action begins, and we'll have Korean Royale throughout the week, followed by the Stars War offline tournament from China on the Saturday and the Sunday. So loads and loads of StarCraft 2 coming up. It's busy schedules all planned out. Like I said, very excited to be bringing it all to you guys. Thanks so much for joining us and being here. Hell yeah. Bunker drops into the front, reactor on the way. Pilot Council building from Creator as the Nexus comes up to completion. That'll be a 3rd CC from Oliveira already, so he's going to go very, very just eco-focused, straight into that triple command center, straight into the very economy-focused game plan. Do you see that extra rack starting up? So bringing that through, the Adept will move on in. Just trying to see what is going on. The blink will begin on the side of our Protoss, so we get that underway. The warp gate coming up. Everything just kind of chilling. It's an interesting series. Haven't seen that much of Creator as of late. I just haven't really caught many of his games. He hasn't been playing the Mondays, if I'm not, unless I'm mistaken. Oliveira, I feel like, has not been as good against Protoss as he has been in the past, I suppose. So yeah, just kind of across the board, kind of very intrigued as to how Oliveira and Creator will hold themselves in this series. Well, Gateways coming down, and Marines coming up. 4 gates from Creator. I actually do remember Creator playing very 4-gate heavy last time I saw him as well, so I guess that is not too surprising. As with 4 gates coming up, he will apply a lot of pressure against a Terran that's very bio-focused with 3 CC. The Adept just hit the Stalker there, but as we fix that, we will kill off the Reaper. Yeah, the Adept gets rid of the 3cc. Sorry, let's actually get back to what I wanted to say. The 3cc means you're going to be kind of exposed. You're focusing on economy. As you focus on economy, that does mean that your opponent can come in and maybe hit you before you're ready. You're not going to have any tech units. It's purely bio forces. If you get to enough bio and stim before you take too much damage, then brilliant. You're likely going to be in a great position. So that is a fairly sizable question mark. As again, Blink coming up. We'll be finishing very soon. Prism's halfway done. 2 more Stalkers are coming in. Stim back and our combat shield still building as our Marines do take some steps forward. The Adept is going to get chased over to that right-hand side. So a lot of Stalkers up around the top. Bioforce going to be gathering on the natural. Against Stim Combat +1 all coming through. Additional Stalkers warping in. Bringing this all by for the moment as that factory finishes up on the high ground. these Stalkers get much done here. Going to try for the bunker. They should get it because the SCV's on threefold. However, we're about to have Stim. These Stalkers have to be very careful right now. With Stim available, this Bioforce can absolutely pack a heavy, heavy hit. As we actually find the Prism a moment too late to cancel the warp in, but we will kill the Prism, so no more units will warp in. Stalkers actually being microed on the left-hand side means the ones on the right were not blinked back perfectly. A Stim again, obviously we're not on Medivacs yet, but the starport's finishing soon, so we're not that far away from Medivacs. So I wouldn't say that that's looking too bad. 6 SCVs going down, 73 to 67 supplies. Oliveira with a pretty good cleanup across the board. I mean, obviously created not on a third base, dropping a Robo Bay from here, and Oliveira has triple CC, so Oliveira, as long as he's not dying, is absolutely in a great position. This is a little awkward because these are the moments where you don't have a bunker, you don't really want to stim because your units are already low, but he's still able to push this back, and that is a very big statement as to where we're at in this game. 3 more Stalkers will warp in beneath that Prism, more Stalkers up on the top. Continuing to move forwards, and they are going to come through, aiming towards this natural. Fire will continue to come over. We will have ourselves the Immortal and the Nexus continuing up as well. Fire dropping down, Stalkers still being kept away. 4 more Stalkers get warped in, the Immortal coming up. More Marines also on the way out here on the side of Oliveira. Fires through. Stalker's getting chased. Prism will load up once again. Now going to turn it back around to the top side of the map. Zealot and the Sentry finishing up on that natural, and again the Prism ready to go, dropping in toward the main in the next few moments. Prism taking quite a few shots. Stalkers blink across. They will go for a couple of these SCVs. Marines, Marauders showing up. Stalkers continue to take some hits. Can we get rid of the Prism? No. That would have been huge just to kind of clear up Oliveira's kind of freedom in the game. But honestly, his third is only just finishing, only just saturating from Creator. He's down 8 workers. His army supply ain't good. He's got no upgrades. Creator needs some serious work, and a Prism now dying in the corners. The Vikings get it. This is terrible for Creator. Oliveira is looking golden here in game number 1 of this best of 3. Looking very, very good. I believe this is round of 16 here today for the Kung Fu Cup. Oliveira is gleaming so far as the charge and the +1 come up on the side of Creator. A few Stalkers there move forwards. The Bio will punch back. Chase that away. Bio fights through. A couple of Zealots going to get chased. Stalkers and Colossi continue to gather together as well. We have ourselves a Dark Shrine coming up here. Vikings fire onto the Colossus, so again a little bit more damage being found. The more of that we get done, the better off we will be. And Bio gonna go swinging away once more. And it's just going to be too much Terran and 1-1 upgrades. The number of units, it all adds up to just being too much. We absolutely saw this coming from a mile away. As Oliveira takes game number 1 off of Creator. That first blink play just was not. Next round against Hero, or will Creator be fighting back? Creator is the blue Protoss in the upper right-hand side of the map here on Post Youth. While on the bottom left, our red Terran player is going to be Oliveira. Let's see what this next stage is going to be able to bring us. To get this underway, game number 2, Post Youth. These next few moments. SCV in the probe getting chased about a little bit. Coming around. SCV will get some nibbles. Obviously, probe mostly just looking to scout here in the early stages. There is that SCV on the right side. It's going to proxy the factory, so Oliveira does have something a little bit interesting planned. Puts that to use pretty much straight away. Very cool to see. He gets to work on that one. Like I say, Nyan immediately. Obviously, this is off the one base, and with the SCV potential wall off and stuff, it's very tough for the Protoss player to really scout what's going on or anything, or really see exactly what's happening. Probe scouting about. Again, look to see what's going on next few moments. We'll drop down the starport on the right-hand side. We get that going. Just for the moment, the starport coming up. Hellion and the Marine continuing into play. Probe is scouting, wants to try and figure out a little bit of what might be happening here. Trying to figure out as the Hellion pops is going to be able to get the cleanup. So now you know what's going on. The Hellion drop is figured out. Is that still got potential to be, well, successful? That's what we're about to ask ourselves here next couple of moments to get this underway. Starport, Hellion, both on the way through. Starting on the side of Creator, obviously by knowing that this is going to be the drop, you can put yourself in the right position early. Actually interesting because it's not just going to be the Hellion drop, it's also going to be the Marine drop. So Medevac flies forward, it is seen, but you have a bit more power with this, with the Marines being here as well. So I feel like that is also going to be quite interesting as this Medevac moves its way forwards. Destination taking quite a few hits, and I mean, the Hellions are into the mineral line, but the battery is going to be good enough to keep them alive for the most part. Hellions trying to do what they can. This was not really it from Oliveira at all, right? I mean, he gets only 2 probes. Defense is pretty darn good. Hellion will go down in a moment, so that is going to be the complete cleanup in the end. That is going to be a shutdown. Oliveira trying to double expand on the back of this, which you can understand. Definitely makes a lot of sense. I'll try and do something here. That blink about halfway done for the moment. I'll blink about coming up to being finished. Obviously, we'll see if Creator can get any pressure done with that. Otherwise, I mean, we do kind of get to just settle for a little bit as well. We'll see. Oliveira didn't really do too much. His 15 supply behind. Triple CC, he'll start to try and fight back with the work account. He's getting a Raven, a tank. His Creator just takes a third base. The good news for Oliveira is then at least he's not going to be under pressure straight away. The hallucination sees everything. So, I mean, Creator is very aware of what's going on. So that's obviously some big information of the Nexus. We'll finish up shortly. A couple of High Templars, a couple of Gateways all coming through. More probes coming about as well. Plus one attack, Interference Matrix, and the Stimpack building. Storm and Charge will both come through. The couple of gates along the way. 3 more probes coming out. Starport moves off over to the sides. A couple of the barracks will drop on in. Again, with Oliveira being left alone, he can have some time to recover from that early fail of a proxy. Red just sets up a pal on far right side as well. Storm charge coming up. Probes coming through. Robo facility and extra gates all coming about. Command will be lifting off, will be moving towards the third base. We're actually going to go to the triangle. Very interesting. Not going to take that left-hand side. You don't see that usually on Post Youth. This base here is not typically seen as the third, but I guess if you mine out these minerals, it's not too far forward to wander. This base feels pretty safe a lot of the time. Well, this is going to be interesting. Definitely a base layout you don't see every day. Okay, just drops his fourth base down again. Oliveira has to play passively off the opening. He was never going to have the units kind of suddenly show up and swing through and to get a whole bunch done. Hallucination chilling overhead, as you do have everything Stalker, Zealot, Sentry, High Templar wise joining up along that right hand side. That's my attack getting going. A couple more High Templars coming through. The Robo Bay is going to be popping in a moment or so. We do have that combat shield about to be done from Oliveira, so at least we'll have that upgrade as well. Will the defensive setup be enough for him? He obviously will have to be dodging storms here, which we might use the Prism to get the High Templars in range. Coast Academy is building, but a long way off. We've got to keep that Raven back from the High Templar too, as Oliveira moves the unit or two forward. We'll see the split of Creator trying to come towards him, so he is aware of what's happening. He's going to come in with the Raven. Gets an anti-armor missile, hits everything on the right side. Well, now you can't fight his Creator, not with an anti-armor missile on everything. +1, Ascendant Thermal Lance, both continue through from Creator here. Colossus, Robo Facility, and Forge coming about. Now probes on the way. +2, +1 on the way out. The ship weapons as well building through here. And again, the Vikings, Ghosts, all the good stuff coming through at the moment from Oliveira. As you see the Prism going to come around the bottom side. There's going to be Vikings there immediately as though, so the Prism will not do too much. Still having that Dark Shrine building. Up against the Chrono Boost on the Robo Facility. A couple High Templars get dropped back down. Nexus setting up on the left. That's all grabbing Marine. Yeah, it really does just take a few moments to settle down here altogether. Have the Disruptors coming through, the Dark Shrine coming up, the extra gateways building. Good shutdown by Creator, obviously able to hold the map. It's a very slow going game, which I guess makes a lot of sense based on how it opened. You know, Oliveira doesn't have a strong follow-up. Creator can't really attack into the very defensive position that Oliveira has entrenched himself into. TLDR, you know, for Creator, this is bank up money, get all the possible tech online, take all those advantages. And from Oliveira, it's build up to a max army and then try and take some good fights, hoping that maybe the pros player hasn't been able to out-tech you too heavily in the process. And when I say out-tech you too heavily, it's, you know, basically hasn't been able to go straight to carriers before you are able to kind of recover and to start doing things again. If Creator already had 2 or 3 carriers on the way, I'd be feeling terrible for Oliveira. As it stands, seems reasonable. Very inactive when it comes to taking fights on the map, but that's okay. Like I say, it makes sense for the situation. I'm just gonna see a bit of bio here, grabbing a stim towards some Stalkers. They're gonna run into a storm. I feel like if you eat that storm, you should probably just finish off the High Templar, no? High Templar gets to live. There are the Stargates, there's the Fleet Beacon. The continued tech up from our Pros player comes through. That is absolutely again the expectation here. There's no surprises about that. We'll drop down. CT under the gold base. Just going to get that into position. A few ghosts. The Marauders moving through. Just killed off our own Colossus. Looks like we're making way for carriers. I mean, the Colossus being a target there was a little bit of a surprise, though. Didn't quite expect that. Well, Storms come onto this army as well, so Marauders get pushed back. Marauders come through. EMP goes down. Stalks get pushed away. On the right side come through. Mr. Turtle go down. Fire Force going to stem it up as we do have the Disruptors firing forwards. Of course, with Mothership and all these carriers on the way, the late game is really being entered. Both players just keep on taking bases, and we wait for this kind of huge, bigger clash to happen. Oliveira up 1-0 in this best of 3 series if you're just joining us. Prism takes a shot on the way in, just with a couple of Zealots. Going to eat another Wood of Mine. So the good news here is that the Wood Prism is dead, no warping. It's very good for the Terran player. That means it's only a couple of Zealots to deal with. Fire sits. Missile turret. Just going to get taken down. These few Stalkers just trying to poke and prod. And 2 more carriers on the way up. Another nuke into the center. Disruptor will just deny the ghost. Easy pickings. Not too much going on, so it was unlikely that the nuke was ever going to truly land. We're actually building a second Ghost Academy, though. That means we can have 2 nukes going at the same time. Alright, well, we actually dive 40 as Oliveira catches a Colossus. It's not a bad dive. Ada Storm, but if you back away, the Medivacs will have time to play heal up. Fire goes diving through. Disruptor gets taken out. Lex, thank you so much for the 26-month resub on the Prime Gaming. Appreciate it. Thank you so much. Hope you're doing great. Thanks for supporting the stream, obviously. A bit of a dive. We're going to get on top of the Disruptors. That's really bad for Creator as Oliveira. Going to find the top left base. Not really much going on. We have a little onslaught from Creator on the bottom side. What the hell is that? It's an Archon run by, of all things. You don't see those every day. You know, Ghost will try and nuke from the low ground, as these Archons will genuinely be scary if nothing shows up to stop him and they get onto a mineral line, but we should surely get something here. That nuke is still looking to land in the next moment or so. It's going to land on not much at all. Still the excitement to see the nuke landing, as we are going to line up another. Archon run by. Somehow still has a couple of Archons alive from it, though, as, oh, the Stalker's missed the Ghost. The nuke is going to land again. Couple of probes. Ghost stays plugged a few more moments. High Templar finds a Storm as Oliveira trying to move forwards. He is going to have so many Vikings to take down this carrier fleet. It's going to be a problem. One more Storm coming about. Bio coming through. Vikings still in the sky. We need to have enough army as well, though, here. Right, we need to have enough bio to kind of deal with the ground force as well. This is very Viking heavy at the moment. The Vikings need to get rid of these carriers ASAP and then perhaps get on the ground to help. They're going to eat a massive Storm, though. That's huge. Bio force on the ground has done well enough, though. The last Disruptor is the only thing that's going to push it back for a moment. A warning nuke from Oliveira. Both players rich, and so money can be spent to rebuild. Predator is richer. Nuke will land, but the Protoss army's not going to walk into it. I think he actually cancelled it and launched another one, which is kind of cool. Keeps it zoning there, and it may make Creator kind of miscalculate the timing to come back in. That could have made, been a mistake waiting to happen. if there's a position to take a fight in, this is probably it from Oliveira, because he gets to just sit there and kind of deal with this as units come up the ramp into the choke point, into the static defense, but into like the depots and so on. It's not going to be good enough though. Kratos' army is just too powerful. There's a couple moments there where Oliveira looked as though he might have a good shot at it, but just not good. 1-1, going to game 3 in the top right corner of the map. This is going to be Creator. And in the bottom left, our Red Terran, Oliveira. What's up, Brian? Love the YouTube streams. Hell yeah. Thank you so much for joining us on the YouTube channel. We'll be trying to do at least 1 YouTube stream a week. Maybe even 2. Kind of depends what kind of schedule and what matches we have in store. I want to try and keep the... YouTube's a funny place, you know, in the first place, with like how it works and algorithms and so on. So I want to try to keep it so that we only kind of still have like the highest quality of games on YouTube, so stuff like Kung Fu Cup, where all the games are very good, etc. So I'm going to be a little bit particular with what we stream on the YouTube, but it is great to be able to be doing the multi-streams and giving people more ways to watch and everything. It's awesome. Big fan of that. Very excited to be able to do it. And again, just very happy that so many people are already kind of joining us on the YouTube channel, watching, even though it's a fairly new thing for us. So I think that's very cool as well. Very, very cool. Waiting for our PVT to develop into a little bit of something here. Let's just have Command Center morphing into the orbital back at home, so we get that started. CC coming up, factory coming in. See no kind of crazy proxy play from Oliveira. Gonna play a little bit more regularly this time around. Obviously, we've seen Oliveira try and mix it up with that proxy play in that last game, especially where it just kind of did flop. As that factory comes through, the reactor comes in with the command center as well. The refinery also coming up. Getting a lot of this underway for the moment, as we just have a Hellion producing out of the factory, so bringing that online, getting that coming through already. Trial Council builds from Creator. So again, we get that on the way, get that started up. Trial Council coming through, Stalker coming about, Warpgate coming in, Marine's just going to knock down a pylon. And Oliveira comes through the center with a Hellion taking the watchtower as we move. A little bit of a journey across to the upper side of the map. Twilight Council is indeed about to be finished. Get that completed in a couple of moments. Banshee going to be the choice, but it gets seen by the hallucination, so you get figured out pretty much immediately here. Yo, so Duke Nukem, how you doing, mate? Good to see you. Always great to see you dropping in when you can. Hope you're having a great day, mate. Hope everything is going well for you. See your name. As our Stalkers will be chilling up in that main base. Like I say, we're going to commit to the Banshee, even though it was scouted here. So Oliveira not going to try and mix that up, not going to try and play the switch up at all. 2 gateways up, Creator will expand. Obviously, played that 4 gate in game number 1, and that just really did not go his way. That was not something that ended well for him at all, so I think it's a good thing that we're seeing him go the different route this time around. Playing the expansion, playing a bit more macro focused. Obviously, macro worked in the last game after a strong start. The Banshee's still moving around that right side, and it's going to cloak up as it moves up in toward the main. A couple of Stalkers are going to be nearby, and the Banshee is going to get in. Just going to go after those probes, but it's not going to be able to with the Stalkers and an Obs here. It's just going to be a defense made already, so defense is good to go. Well, Banshee number 2 can maybe join up and try and maybe provide a little bit more opportunity over these next few moments. This one does find a way into a mineral line that does not have a battery, so single Banshee is able to get a kill. Now the other Banshee is right in the back, so it's tough for it to really kind of come through and do much. Instant combat +1, bit of everything on the way. The couple more medevacts coming through from Oliveira. Marine Marauder still on the way out. Extra gateways from Creator as well being brought up into play now. Again, just seeing a little squad of units from Creator in the center beginning to move forward. Combat will be finishing. The +1 not far from being done. Prism allows the blink up into the main base, as we are going to have force field going down. A couple of SCVs getting blocked off. Marines will be dropping bio on the other side of the map, so we're going to enter something of a base trade. The big difference so far is that Creator is in the main, Oliveira is on the third. I mean, that's a huge difference, because obviously the main is kind of where you want to be to shut down production. Widowmine does not get to go off. Immortal does get to live through the super battery. Super battery will fade soon. There's Widowmines there that do get set off by the blink. I was wondering about those when we saw them before. Both sides of this taking some serious damage. Again, I'm worried about the fact that Creator should just be able to get a lot of warp-ins going still. That should be Oliveira's biggest issue. As more and more warp-ins come through, Oliveira's army is getting no stronger at all. Creator has got probes out on the map. He's got the money to build a Nexus. It'd be very good to get rid of that Twilight Council. I don't think you should ever let the Twilight Council finish like an upgrade. If you see a Twilight upgrade in this situation, the last thing you want to do is to let it actually finish, right? Especially when you were right there. This is a couple of seconds. Oliveira's supply is not looking pretty at all. 44 to the 30 in army supply favoring Creator. Maybe if Oliveira, he does have a +1 upgrade. Maybe if he can fight with the SCVs pulled, they can actually do enough tanking to help him out here. 2 observers available. I was thinking about the Banshees and Cloak as well, if maybe they could have a huge role to play in this, but as long as the observers are alive, then not so much. If the orbital lands and we can snipe those obs, Banshees can obviously get in for a lot of free damage, so it's nice to have them. But as of right now, it's also just army supply that's not going to be as immediately useful in the fight. Oliveira is going to lose his orbital command here. It's going to put the pressure on him. Oliveira has money for another CC. Looks like he's going to start it up in the main base of his opponent. Creator starts base top left-hand side. It's going to be a fresher base. That's something to note in the long term. There's also Oliveira, 22 to 9 workers. He does have the better worker count as well for once mining can resume. This Creator will be able to resume mining sooner as well, and Oliveira will have to do a full rebuild of structures. Creator actually does have a gateway down here, so that's something, whereas Oliveira has... Okay, he's building a tech lab on a factory over there. Be kind of cool. Medevac just boosts out. It's empty. Just going to go and try and pick up information as Oliveira begins to lose his depots. Going to become another problem here soon as obviously Creator just slowly cleans up everything on this side. SCVs, again, great for maybe fighting with, but at the same time, you kind of want them to mine with the way that this game is going. Creator is building a probe, recognizing that this is going to kind of lengthen into a bit of a different game. I think the medevac has gone to pick up the 2 siege tanks that are building in that bottom right corner. That does make a lot of sense. Just, you know, pick those up, get those safe. That would help out a lot as well, barracks start up in the main base as well, so production is truly coming back online with tanks. That's a huge deal. I do love the Dark Shrine, though. Obviously, DTs at this point in the game is a big factor, and that's because the Twilight Council is still alive on the natural as well. What a mistake by Oliveira to leave that Twilight Council up. The dive in the main, I understand you're desperate, but to let the Twilight Council live, I actually think that was a massive mistake, all said and done, honestly. Huge misplay. Henry dies. Engineering Bay taking some shots. And Dark Shrine still coming through from Creator. Get that finished up in a moment as... Oh, no. Do not lose this medevac with the tanks inside it. That would be devastating. Oh, Creator. Oliveira does build a missile turret, so he's recognizing the possibility. Good play by Oliveira. That's very smart to do. I'm going to kind of back it up into a really similar situation. This factory gets found, but we did get the 2 tanks off of it, so honestly it was pretty useful. Factory will go down. Gonna find a pylon in the corner, finish that off. Creator gets supply blocked. And Creator taking an expansion. So Creator's gonna expand to the bottom, and we have a TvP where they've relocated, and we're gonna go up to multiple bases each, it seems. Well, maybe not quite multiple bases on the side of Oliveira just yet. General idea seeming okay though is... I mean, Oliveira still has a +1 upgrade. The missile turret up. DT play will not do too much. I love the fact he still has these Banshees. So useful for the future. Yep, DT just walks in, goes down. That works. Easy shutdown, not even needing to use a scan. The problem with the DTs is you still need to have scans available if you want to move out. So if you want to move out, you've got to have those scans ready to go, otherwise it's not going to work. You can trade here, Oliveira. You do not need to run from these stalkers. He wants to bring that other tank further forward before he tries to break onto the natural and, you know, clean things up here. Actually going to get DT Blink, which again in the long run could be very useful. Creator is pylon starved. As we should have a scan here to kill the DT off immediately once we realize it, so DT goes down. Yeah, he is pylon starved. He is going to get supply blocked, losing this final pylon, so that is going to be an issue. And that, I believe, as well, was one of his only 2 gateways, so also a factor as Oliveira begins to move down the ramp. This is a very interesting state of the game because you don't really know what the best move is, right? There's no, like, sign which tells you, like, oh, yeah, this is what you should do. There's not really a ton of experience which tells you what you should do. 1 observer left. DT moves into the main. The observer is at home, or at the base of the Pros play, which I think is very important as that DT shows up. We've got detection, we just do not have units to fight it. Not even a couple Marines. The SCVs giving their lives to try and... Oh my god, we stopped fighting it as well. Oliveira is just going to send it across the map, but a Banshee goes down already. He is just not dealing with that DT at all. I don't disagree that Oliveira probably needed to make a push, but obviously the DT knocking down every single SCV is just a shame. 1 DT, that's all it was. 1 Dark Templar did all of that. There was a few DTs that were made overall, but finally just 1 comes in. Oliveira has nothing at home. And now he's just completely all in, although he was probably all in anyways. Now he's going to be absolutely guaranteed all in. So it looks as though Creator will be moving through the round of 8. This attack forward should not be good enough with Super Battery available. And Oliveira is going to be able to... is not going to be able to take down this position. And that is Creator taking the game number 3. GG's.